Hi, everybody. I'm Julie Huck with the Agent of Change platform, and today I have a very special treat. I have my husband, Ed Huck, from the Ed Huck
Hey,
Team. Yes, I
and
convinced him to come on today and do a little interview because he has a lot to say when it comes to a lot of different topics. Actually, we're going to be covering today. We were talking a little bit before this, so I'm kind of excited when it comes to team building, when it comes to the market, when it comes to some advice for current agents out there. So, are you excited?
me?
Yeah.
Did you ask me or tell me? I wasn't quite sure how that conversation went. I'm excited to be here. Yes,
What
I
do
am.
you think?
Exactly. We're a great team, so I
Yes,
love
we do
working
make
together.
a great team.
Yes.
Well, let me tell you,
So,
so far you're my favorite person that I've interviewed.
oh, thank you. And I know you've interviewed a lot of people. So
Yeah.
we'll see if we can
Yeah.
keep it that way.
Okay, well, so let's dig in. I wanted to ask you because some people may not know you. Just to give us a background of who you are, what you do, how long you've been selling real estate for, and a
Sure.
little bit about the team that we run.
Yeah. So as you know, my name's Ed Huck with the Ed Huck team in Keller Williams. I've been selling since 1992. Got my real estate license soon after I got out of the Air Force. I was 26 when I got in the industry. My mom and stepfather were both realtors. So I kind of grew up in the industry up until probably I was like 15 or 16. And then they went a different way. They got out of real estate. And I never thought I was going to be doing this. Of course, you don't want to do what your parents did. But when I got out of the Air Force, I was always been drawn to houses. I worked for a general contractor for a couple summers. Was always interested in architecture. So I thought it'd be a great industry to get into, especially because I did see that if you put in the work, there's a big reward at the end and you get to control that. So after being in the military, where I loved it, but I didn't have a lot of control over my income. It was neat to be in an industry that now I 100% get to control that.
Yeah, for sure.
And actually, so when I was approached my stepfather about, this idea and telling him what I was thinking about doing, the first thing he said was go to Realty One. And this is back in the early, 90s. Realty One was the largest real estate company in Ohio. And they've now since become Howard Hanna. Howard Hanna bought Realty One. At first, Howard Hanna bought Smith Kramer, then they bought Realty One. But he said, go to Realty One. The training is phenomenal. You go there and get trained. If you stay a year or two, that's great. It's up to you, but you got to start there. So that's what I did.
Mhm.
And it was phenomenal. It was a 2 week. It's like 9 to 5 for 2 weeks. It was like 10-day training. So it was really intense. The challenge was after that, it just dropped off. There was really no ancillary training after that. So I found that was a little bit of a challenge.
Mhm.
My first couple of years, I struggled before I was
Yeah.
really able to kind of take off in it. Um, Matter of fact, I always tell the story that when I started at the Realty One Westlake office at 26, I was the youngest guy in that office by far.
Mhm.
When we left and went to Keller Williams it was 2007, I was still one of the young. I was in my, I think it was 40. I was still one of the youngest people in the office, which that was a problem or a challenge. And I'm going to go off a little off tangent here, but the couple of the reasons I went to Keller Williams was the training. The training has been phenomenal. It
Mhm.
was phenomenal. I thought when I came here that I knew everything. I didn't know anything. And it's been really apparent. I've plugged into absolutely everything they have. Every year they're coming out with more training.
Mhm.
It's been fantastic and really been a
Well,
big piece of that growth.
let me ask you what you mean by that. You thought you knew everything because you had been an agent from 1992 to 2007. So how many years is that? I can't. You and I both know I can't do
For,
that in my head.
for a while.
Oh, good. You can't do it in your head either. Anyways, it was a long time.
15 years.
15 years you were a practicing agent and you were selling a decent amount of homes, on
Yeah.
your own when you moved over to Keller. And you said you thought you knew everything, but you realized you didn't. What did that mean?
So what had happened is myself and a couple of friends, we started going to national conventions. So we started getting out of Ohio and going to the National Association of Realtors conventions. We went to 3 or 4 of those. That had kind of run its course. We started going to this thing called Howard Britton Star Power seminars, which those were very powerful in that you've got to meet agents from all over the country that were building big businesses.
Mhm.
And back in those days, you know, if you sold 30 or 40 houses, that was a big business. So it was neat to start getting into rooms with folks like that. And they were spilling their guts and sharing everything that they knew. And the ironic piece of it was a lot of those agents were Keller Williams across the country. When we'd go to these conventions, we didn't have Keller Williams in Cleveland at that point.
Mhm.
When I started going to these conventions, and it was just a different mindset to see and talk to some of these folks. Then they finally brought Keller Williams to Cleveland. And when they first came, I wasn't in a position to make the jump. I finally did. And it's just from that Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, which most realtors have seen, that was written by Gary Keller. We were building our team at Realty One with that model and that book from the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. And I thought I was doing great until we got here. And at that point, it was, oh my gosh, it was very powerful to have the broker modeling exactly everything that's in the book. And when those two things came together, it was really like rocket fuel, and we started to take off and just plug into how to build the business, how to hire people, how to train people, who to hire, how, personality assessments, just on and on and on and on. Accountability, coaching. You know, we've had coaches for 10 years that we pay money to. And just being exposed to that, I think, has really been the game changer for us.
Yeah. And so okay, so going back, you joined Keller Williams, and did you have a team at that time?
It did. So it came.
Wait.
Go ahead.
Pause for a second. So you came to Keller Williams in 2007, and then what year did you meet me?
Is this a test?
No, it was 2007.
It was about the same time, right
Yeah.
the same year.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
So anyway, just pin that for
Exactly.
later purposes.
So, yeah. So when we came here, you weren't a realtor yet at that point, and we did.
I was in new home sales, so we met in. I was in the Koff model home in Avon Lake in the West Winds, and some of you may have heard the story, some of you may have not. But Ed's client came into the builder model unrepresented, which is a no-no, agents. Just so you know, you're not supposed to let your clients go into builders models unrepresented, because you will not get paid. However, I knew I wanted to sell that house because it was a big one. And so I called Ed and told him that I would honor him as the agent. And the rest is history.
Well, and of course, I ran right over to then go register them and meet this nice sales rep that said she would honor my customers, which this was, again, back in 2007, and they were purchasing a $600,000 house in 2007. So it was a huge commission. So I was going to do anything I could to make sure I schmoozed this sales rep into making sure that I got my commission. And then the rest is history.
And it was love at first sight for you, right?
It was, of course it was. Exactly.
No, it wasn't.
No,
it wasn't. I had to convince him he loved me. Anyway.
Longer story, different day.
I'm just joking.
And well, to that point, I had my broker's license already.
Yeah.
So I could have gone and open Ed Huck Team Real Estate, and I still could go do that. Do I really need a Keller Williams or a big franchise behind me? I think I do. I think there's a lot of value in there. And obviously I'm very, I was going to say frugal, but I think I hold our money accountable at a high level, and knowing that, yes, we do as a team get enough value to stay here at a franchise model or, for the money that we pay them. It's definitely well worth it. So
And so in 2007, did you have a team, or
Yeah, so
how did this whole team, the Ed Huck team, where it was and where it is today? Can you explain what that looks like and what it looks like
we
today?
started like most agents do, where it's okay, let's I don't know what software I've got open that's thinking like that.
Okay,
I
we can't hear.
apologize. Let me, there we go. So good. Hope that wasn't a lead. I just hung up on it.
Yeah. If it was a listing lead, we're gonna stop this right now and you're gonna go grab that listing.
It's
We
a
need those.
possible
All right.
scam.
Okay.
So we did like most agents did when they started a team. I just started adding people, part-time people that just needed to sell a couple houses. I had a full-time admin at that point already that I was paying just for myself, and I was keeping her busy. And we thought, well, why don't we get some more people to add to the team, salespeople that are struggling or, just want to sell 10 or 15 houses a year. Let's have our Dana admin person, work for them too. And then maybe we can kind of grow this. So it was kind of a haphazard way to start a team. Then I found the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book and started looking at this going, maybe I'm not doing this correctly. And about the same time we moved to Keller Williams, and then we added some more people to the team. Same kind of way. It was just, hey, they needed some place to call home. And it just didn't work out. So we had to reboot the team then, and a couple of times actually since then, because just trying to not build it the way the model is set to build it. We've deviated a little bit, but historically we come back to building it darn close to the way the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book suggests to make it. And every time we get too far off of it, and actually I know a ton of other folks that run big teams across the country, and we all get together a couple times a year, actually maybe 2 or 3 times a year, and talk about this. Every time we get too far away from the model or the model that we've created, that's when things get messy.
So is there a way to explain what that model looks like? And because I know for a fact, I talk to a lot of agents and we talk to a lot of other agents just locally and nationally. And we know that there are, you can't say real estate team and it looked the same. I mean, everything is different. And it's very confusing, I think, too, especially for agents like new to the business looking to join a team. Like they don't know what to look for. But can you explain what our model looks like, or what the millionaire real estate model is that you've created the Ed Huck team after?
Yeah, so it's basically based around the way that agents we've noticed. So I've also managed an office for Realty One. I managed the Realty One West Park office for a couple of years. And the way we've really built out the team now is after 20 years of experience of watching agents fail. Now I know how to plug the gaps to make sure the agents don't fail. Obviously, it's still always up to them. And the big parts being is most agents don't have enough support. You go look at these big offices and all of them have 50, 80, 100 agents in them and one manager, and maybe an assistant. If you're lucky, you have an assistant manager and a couple admin. And that's not enough. So we've built out a large admin team and a huge onboarding coaching program that when people are coming on to our team and learning the industry, they've got immediate accessibility to get all their questions answered. Somebody's going to go with them on their first 2 or 3, 4 listing appointments. Same thing with buyers interviews. We're going to teach them how to show a house, write an offer, all the dialogue.
Hold an open house, right?
Everything.
All the things that you don't learn in real estate school, right?
And after being in the Air Force for 5.5 years, working on airplanes, we have checklists built out on how to do all of this. So behind the scenes, we know how to onboard somebody and get them up and running quickly. And we've got the track record. The thing that gives me goosebumps is the results we've seen from 4 or 5 of our last people that have joined the team and how fast they've escalated, their careers, which I know is not, it's very unique to the industry to see how fast these agents in 2 or 3 years are.
Well, tell me tell me more about that. Like, what do you mean by fast and escalating their career?
Yeah. So, within 24 months, some of these agents are at 6 figures incomes, netting 6 figures. And the other reason we notice a lot of people fail is there's no accountability in this industry. Right. So if you don't show up and you're not making your phone calls, or you're not sending out the marketing pieces, or making your contacts weekly, nobody's going to care. Right. Unless you're in a system like we have here, where you're going to meet with an accountability coach once a week that's going to hold you accountable to your goals, not our team's goals, but we hold you accountable to your goals that you've set up. And, 80% of people, I was reading this book not too long ago that talked about 80% of people need constant supervision. 15% of the public needs some supervision, and 5% need no supervision. And we're built out to help those. I would say I'm in the 15. I still need a coach. I know our careers and our team's success has been a direct relation to having accountability coaches hold me accountable to making sure that we're building this out the way we're supposed to be, and we're hitting our milestones. So, and everybody, every sports figure, I think, everybody hears about this all the time. Tiger Woods has 5 coaches, the swing coach and the driving coach and the putting coach and the spiritual coach and the mental. So we all have these coaches. So we implemented that into here, so they have some great coaching and accountability. I think that's another reason people fail when it comes to actually contacting their sphere. Most folks, especially when they get started, and even myself as an experienced agent, I would always cringe. Oh my gosh, now I haven't called the Joneses in 6 months. I need to call them again. What the heck am I going to talk to them about? So we've built out a platform of marketing, because this kind of goes hand in hand. People are afraid to call their sphere, and they have no reason to call them, and they're not doing the marketing. So we do all of that. So we've got,
or they don't have time too.
Or they don't make time.
Make time. We all have time.
So we've got it set up so that every month you've got a reason to call your sphere and engage with them, whether we're having a seller's workshop, a buyer's workshop, fundraising event, sponsoring something, our giveaway, just all kinds of different reasons, fun, good, exciting reasons to connect with your sphere. So you're not that pushy realtor calling, who do you know that needs to buy a home or sell a home or invest in real estate that I can call today? You still ask that sometimes.
Yeah, it's still good.
It's a great dialogue. And though you're not asking, your friends won't cringe when they see your phone number because, this time they're calling to invite me to a team event. Oh my gosh, I'll answer that phone call. And they just know, so you always become top of mind. And especially newer agents don't understand that you need to spend 10 to 15, maybe 20% of your income on marketing. And they don't have it. If you want to net $100,000 a year, you've got to spend like 150. And guess what? You're probably only making 50 grand. So the dilemma is, how do you leverage? Okay, I'm only making 50,000. I want to make 100, but I need to spend an extra 20 or 30 grand over the 100 to get up there. So we understand that. So we've got the systems set in place where folks, if they bring their sphere and they plug in and they've got the name, email, address, and phone number, and they can get it up to 200 folks really quickly, we've built out the whole platforms. And to be quite candid, most realtors aren't good marketers. It takes them hours to come up with posts for Facebook or thinking about doing it. They always, I'm going to definitely send some postcards out, and they never do it. Or they send out one in January, one in March, and never do it again. So our team is really built around all the things that I know the agents that I've seen over now 30 years, the reasons that they fail, we've plugged those gaps.
So, I mean, and the key is prospecting and marketing are two different things. I think people forget about that. You know, prospecting and having conversations and, you know, finding new clients is one thing, and having accountability to be doing that at a high level is important. And then the marketing piece that's a whole nother ball game. And it sounds to me like, you know, and we say this all the time, is that we're running, every single real estate agent is not a real estate agent. They're an entrepreneur running their own business. And if you're running a business and you're looking for customers, what do you need to succeed? Customers. And how do you find customers? Marketing and prospecting, right?
Yeah. And the way we look at it in our team is we've become partners with the sales team. So the sales team is the partners of the big team, and we're providing the sales support, the marketing, and the coaching and the training for the sales team every day. And it's like, it's a one-stop shop. You know, yeah. I know our sales teams could go anywhere. And I know there's folks that are running other teams and other brokerages calling our sales team all the time, telling them, oh, you're going to get a better split if you come over here. You're going to get this if you come over here. And for the most part, our team members don't leave, you know, and I know because we're providing a high level of value to them, and they net more money. I mean, it's really, who cares what the splits are? It's all about what you net. And if we can provide the time, leverage your time back to you so that you can go do the things you want and do the things that prospecting that will generate at the top of the funnel, so that then you can get those leads turned into customers, and then can turn into closings, and then the past customers, and we take care of all the rest for you. We know it's become a winning model. You know, we love it.
Well, what's important to you about building our team? Feels weird to say that because we're talking, but you know, what about, you know, why are you growing a team? Why are we growing a team versus you and I mean, obviously we know how to sell houses at a high level. We know how to make phone calls. We know how to market. We know how to do it all ourselves. What's the purpose of building a team and you and me just not going and doing it, you know, and maybe making similar amounts of money?
Well, we talk about this a lot. And I talk about this with folks that have come to me and talked about starting a team. And my first question is, what makes you want to start a team? And it's evolved. I'll be candid, right? You know, it doesn't always start off this way. It might have started out with the money, a piece of this. Hey, I want to make more money. And that was 20 years ago or 15 years ago now. And it's really though evolved into, I want to help other people achieve their goals. And by doing such, we achieve our goals. It's that whole Zig Ziglar. You help enough people get their goals, you'll hit your goals. And I realized when we really got serious about this, again in about 2007 or 8, when we came to Keller Williams, I needed to shift my mindset. Instead of always being a great realtor, now I need to be a great business owner, entrepreneur, coach, and build this platform out. And internally, we have this saying, we're changing the way real estate's sold. And we talk about that a lot. And for us, what that means is, well, we've come up with our core values. We did, as you know, we did that probably 7 or 8 years ago. That was a game changer. To now we know exactly who we want to have on the team, who we want to be in business with. You know, we have to have all the same goals, and we're generous, results driven team players with a positive attitude, growth mindset, dedicated to upholding the highest integrity. And we say that before every meeting to make sure everybody's still on the same page with that. And I get goosebumps thinking about our admin team. Every one of them has been in our office. Oh my God. didn't see this coming. Talking about the impact we made on their lives. So we're not even talking the sales team. I didn't get much sleep last night too.
You're gonna cry. Don't make me cry.
Okay. Anyway, the impact.
Us both crying here is not it.
We don't want to.
I know it's pretty I mean, this is powerful stuff. This is serious because there's a lot of heart and time and energy dedicated to this. This isn't something that's easy.
No, and it's the impact we're having on our sales team and our admin team and their families. I mean, our lead admin person was telling me something about that she shared with her daughter about something that we learned in a class 2 years ago that now they're teaching in the Cleveland Public Schools because this daughter of our lead admin person heard about it through us. So I mean, the fingers that we're touching now because of the training that we've got, and now we get to regurgitate all this stuff is crazy powerful. And knowing that we've got folks on the team that put their kids through college with no student debt. So they've literally funded their kids' college tuitions through real estate. And it's just, that's really what drives us at this point now. It's because we have talked about, we would probably net about the same amount of money and have a lot less risk if we were to just be myself, Julie, two admin people, let's call it, and one buyer's agent. We would kill it.
Yeah, but we would never be home and we'd have to work like crazy animals really hard. And
we wouldn't have the impact that we're having.
We would have no impact.
Our goal is to continue to grow and add more sales team so that we can impact their lives and impact their kids' lives and spouses' lives. And, you know, I was coaching with somebody today and she's sharing some stuff that I know she took home and is implementing at home. I'm like, and that's really where this is continuing to grow, because we don't want to grow just for growth's sake and to just have this huge team of, 40, 50, 70, 80 people. Could we get there someday? Sure. And they all still have to fit the same core values and all that. And that's where it goes back to when I meet with somebody that thinks about starting a team, it's always what's driving you to do this? What's your big vision around this? Because what they don't tell you is you're going to work 70 hours a week because you still have to sell houses to supplement the team while you're building up the team. And Julie can tell you firsthand, because there was a lot of long nights and a lot of there was plenty of time where there was
years and years
of long weeks, and our income net income went down for a couple of years, at least 3 or 4 years, because we're spending money, adding admin teams, marketing for people that just got on the team that aren't making any money yet. And so there's a lot of risk there. And it's been phenomenal, though. I mean, the rewarding part of seeing having an impact on these folks' lives has been phenomenal, and that's why we continue to do.
Well, and I think too, just the journey that, like you said, it's building a team that's profitable. Number one, because anyone can have a big team selling houses and not make a profit, which
we know some
is definitely not fun. That is not a fun world to live in, right? And it's not worth it at some point because there's so much that goes into this. But having a profitable team and having service at a high level, because I know that's always been really important to you. And even when I joined you in 2009, I think full time, which was a perfect time to get into the business, right? Because
short sales, foreclosures.
Sounds like a great idea.
Thank God.
When I joined you, I mean, one of the things that I truly admired about the way that you had already built the business was, the reputation that you had created in the industry. And, I'd be talking to agents and say, just negotiating deals, and they'd be like, oh, I know Ed, and Ed did this for me, so I'll do this for you. And that's always been really important to you on the agent to agent, like peer side, which is still very important to us and very important to every single team member. Having that peer relationship and treating each other with respect. but also having, that level of service and care going out to our clients. And that's always a risk. I think that when you say, okay, I'm going to start building a team and leveraging out what I've already built, losing that. And so you've always been very careful to make sure that we grow at a level and a pace that we will not sacrifice our customer service and our level of customer experience for growth's sake, because that's a really tempting thing to do, I think.
It is. I mean, there's so many people, we know folks that have done that and it's imploded, and just knowing back to our internal slogan, we're changing the way real estate's sold, is by doing the tough things, even though you don't want to, or even though it might cost you more money, but it's the right thing to do. We just had a situation just the other day where an agent wanted one of our team members to like white out something that a contractor said on this receipt. And we're like, we can't white that out. I mean, it's on the receipt. It's out there for the world to see. So no, we're not going to do that. Obviously we're not going to do it because it could come back and bite us in the rear end, and that's the wrong thing to do. And this whole deal could go south because she's not willing to break the law, and this other agent is. So I mean, that's kind of where we're headed with that. It was our reputation is we want to improve the reputation of realtors industry wide.
Yeah.
And it's not easy. And sometimes you've got to do the right thing is not always easy, right?
No, it's not. And, I think, I've always admired the way that you have been very intentional about, the way that we grow. And I know we're a team, but I also, you are the leader of this team and this ship, and being very intentional, not being tempted by money, ego. Ego's huge in this industry. Like, and I'm tempted by ego a lot, right? I always say you're a much better person than I am, because it is frustrating. You want to build, you want to grow, and look at that team over there. Look what they're doing, and we're not doing that. We have to get to that point. And over the years, we've really together learned how to just stay in our lane, right? And do the things that we know we do best. Align with partners that we know we really want to work with and we're excited to work with, versus maybe not the people with people without integrity, or people who aren't positive, or people who aren't like-minded. Because I'll tell you what, I think our team could have exploded to a huge level of tons of people if we were to sacrifice what those core values were, or lead by ego, or be tempted by bigger, better, best. And we would not be in the position we're at today.
Yeah. And because we both spend so much time nationally with big teams, small teams, medium-sized teams, networking with them, seeing what's working, what's not working, and having across the country watch some of these teams grow just for growth's sake. That's not the way we're building. And some of you have heard this story before, but we're building our team with a barbecue test. I never forget, we were at a convention, and this agent from Oklahoma, she got up there and she said, this is the way she's building her team. And everybody said, what the heck is the barbecue test? And she said, every other Sunday after church, I have an open house at my house. And I invite everybody from my team and my family to this open house. She's at her house, and she has a big barbecue, and she's got the pool and everything. And she goes, I don't want anybody coming through my front door that I don't want to spend all day Sunday afternoon with. So, and I think that really hit me when I'm like, yeah, I want to have an impact on these folks' lives. And it relates even back to our standard of you need to sell 24 homes. And for us, what that means is we can't impact your life and your team's life, or your family's life and your customer's life if you're selling 6 houses a year. And I think a lot of those, now, if you're working up, that's fantastic. If you're consistently selling 6 houses a year, unfortunately, I'm going to say it, I think you're not, it's very difficult. Let's say it this way. It's very difficult to say super plugged into the industry, to read all the publications, stay what's going on top of everything, attend the meetings, read the publications, and do an amazing job for your customers if you're only selling 4 or 5, 6 houses a year. And
serving the public at a high level.
The public, yeah.
Right.
And in general, you can't,
right.
Would you go to a dentist that, oh, this is I've only done 3 fillings this year. Let me see if I can do this,
Right.
No.
Right.
Or go to a surgeon that I would do heart surgery and this is my 4th one this year, and it's December, you're like, oh. So I think, for us, that comes back to changing the way real estate sold, is making sure that the public gets this, and it's cliche, Disney service, Ritz-Carlton service, this amazing level of interaction with us. And we consistently, year after year after year after year, about 70% of our business is past customers or referrals.
Yeah. And I would say it's more than just service, because I think a lot of agents are excellent at customer service and so nice and so kind and very responsive. I think the missing piece, and really that's why I started this Agent of Change platform, is we owe our clients and the general public our expertise and a skill level that they don't have. And we owe it to them to be highly trained, to know what the market is doing, to know how to negotiate at a very high level. This is not about easy customer service. This is about having the skill set it takes to be in this highly, highly professional, high stakes industry. And that's really what you and I, like, that puts a fire in our belly,
And that's why we have 2 meetings a week.
Right.
Two mandatory meetings a week. People, sales agents hear that and they're like, are you out of your mind? And I'm like, that's the only way you're going to stay up to date with how are you winning offers this weekend? What should I price this house at?
Right.
What are interest rates at? Just really staying on top of what's going on, going on in the market. Your customers assume when they hire you that you are an area agent expert in the market, in the stats, all that. And we all know that more than half the agents don't qualify for that. And that's puts the fire into my belly that so many customers are not being served at a high level. And we're trying to change it.
We're trying to change that. And I would say too, like, it's not, I always feel badly saying that, because I think a lot of times it's not at the agents necessarily all their fault. Because a lot of times you don't know what you don't know. You go to real estate school, you don't learn anything. You're just trying to figure this all out. And sometimes you don't even know where to find that information. It's just, the whole industry can be frustrating. And I think that's why, you and I have created this platform. Our agents get together, you said 2 times a week for an hour and a half, twice a week. And they talk about, okay, here's what happened. Here's how I won this listing. Here's the offers I got on this listing. And this is the one that worked. And that kind of information is so powerful. And then, Ed will come in because he's everything
that needs to stay confidential stays confidential though.
No. Oh yeah. They're not talking. They are definitely not talking names, numbers, nothing. I mean, it's just strategy. It's just a strategy, definitely confidential. But Ed will come in and talk about numbers. You'll pull up the market stats every week. Because part of our job is to understand the market and study it at a high level, because then, that gives you something to say as well. And so, I will be very candid with you. If I was a real estate agent on my own, I would not be studying the numbers and charts and graphs, because I'd rather poke my eyes out. However, I'm thankful that I have to sit in those meetings. I get to sit in those meetings because, he does it for me, or our sales leaders do it for me. And then I can just truly understand it and be knowledgeable and speak intelligently when people ask me how the market is. I actually know, instead of like, oh, it's fine or whatever. So I mean, all of that's really important, and it's something that I know you feel called to. I wanted to ask you another question is just, okay, we're talking about the market. What are your thoughts around this current market that you're in? Can you explain it a little bit from your perspective?
So yeah, it's May of 2023. And on the west side of Cleveland, most of our businesses are primarily west side. I would say east side's pretty much the same right now. There's a huge deficit of new listings.
Mhm.
And I know certain markets, I just happened to look at Westlake the other day. The number of new listings in 2023 versus 2022, it's down like 30% or 34% or something like that. That's huge. So two things have to happen. So if you want to continue to have the same amount of sales that you had in previous years, whether it was 22 or 21, the number of contacts you need to make to hit the same number of sales is probably almost double. I would say probably 30-40% more contacts need to be made on a weekly basis to find those folks that need to move or are gonna move.
Mhm.
And you know, it's all about also the size of your database. So the other way, you know, it's the reason I do, one of the reasons I do love real estate, is people don't understand this, but it's really a numbers game. So it's all about how many people you have in your database and how many contacts you're making.
Mhm.
So again, if you want to do the same amount of sales you did last year, you need to increase the number of contacts and or increase the size of your database.
Mhm.
So it's constantly be getting out there and adding folks to your database and coming up with creative ways to doing it, joining clubs, creating your own networking groups. You know, when your kid joins baseball, guess what? You probably got an email with everybody else's email address in there. There you go. You know, there's all kinds of different ways to do it. So, you know, you might start to hear a lot of gloom and doom in a good, in an interesting way. How do I say this politically correct? But I'm just going to say it. There's going to be a lot of agents get out of the business. And it's not a bad thing because again, they're the ones that are selling 2, 3, 4 houses a year. And in my opinion, they shouldn't be in the business in the first place. Again, unless they're new and getting started, I totally can appreciate that. So
and I
it's
think
really
there's
gonna be,
some of those agents that maybe just need a little bit more help, a little bit more
oh my
support.
gosh, yeah. And I think there's 100%, there's a ton of agents that are out there that just not have been exposed to something that, and are we the only team in town that does it this way? Kind of, in my opinion, because I know a lot of the way people run some of these other teams. And we've got stats to prove it, but
what are our team stats?
Our average agent after year 2 is selling, I think, around 30 houses a year on average, and netting well over 100 grand. Is that the stat?
And our team, so we never talked about the size of our team. We have 12 agents, 3 full-time admin, a marketing department, and an inside sales department. And then last year we helped 325
something like that,
families, and then that was selling $105 million of real estate. And so that's, I mean, that I don't think we had 12 agents last year though actually producing. So that was also I think that's pretty lean for those numbers as well.
Yeah.
So
I'm getting hungry. Are we almost done?
Yeah, what advice would you give an agent to you know, because I think there's a lot of agents listening to this that are a little nervous, that aren't hitting their numbers. I mean, I know that's not uncommon. That's a really normal feeling right now. And that's why we're having these interviews. What would you tell an agent right now to do? And what advice would you give agents so that they can, you know, really thrive, not just survive or not get out of the business and have to go back and do the thing they don't want to do?
Um, again, I teach a class at Keller Williams all about your database. I think it's all about your database. It's all about connecting with everybody in there and finding the folks that have to buy, that just had the baby, that unfortunately may have just gotten divorced, that job transfers. You know, I'm thinking of the 3 or 4 listings that I've had in the last, say, 2 or 3 months. Almost everybody's it's job. They're moving out of town for job or moving into town for job. So it's going after those folks. It's and then adding through database. It's just making those contacts and you know, coming from contribution. That's something we talk about a lot. It's always about, you know, most homeowners love to talk about real estate and what's going on with real estate. So, you know, even if you just called everybody with a quick market analysis, because so many of your friends and relatives are watching the national news and they're singing the gloom and doom, which if you go to California and Texas and Arizona, some of those markets have really started to shift. Florida, not so much, but if you watch some of the national news, you can get really spooked. A lot of that's not hit us yet, other than the number of sales, the number of available transfers is going to be way down this year. Prices are probably not coming down. So, you know, customers need to hear that. They need to know that in the Midwest, we might have a correction here in the next year or two. It's usually never like it is on the coast. There's just not that much volatility here in the Midwest, but we don't see the crazy appreciation that some of those areas saw as well. So it's just kind of stay the course. If you've not been prospecting, if you don't start, you might as well start looking for another job now. I think that's some reality dose too, is so many people, and going back to why people fail, they're afraid to call their sphere. And if you're afraid to call your sphere, get on it.
Yeah, that's right.
Hurry up and find a new business, because every day you wake up and your only job you have is to find a new business. That's it. It's how am I going to find a new piece of business? Once you've done that, then you can go work on your current business and go write the ROC or go show a house or go do whatever you need to do. But it's all about finding new folks that need your services that you can help at a high level. That's your job every day.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And one of the things is that if you don't do that, or you're not doing that, someone else will. And this is a huge opportunity for you to take that market share, because people are still buying and selling. The other thing that I would also add to that is hone in on your skills, because we have been kind of taking orders and serving people. Right now, we need to understand the dialogues that, what do I say when we do call and offer a market analysis? How do I explain to people that they still have a tremendous amount of equity? How do I handle the objections that they're hearing from the national news? So that's all studying and understanding and skills.
And watching your videos.
Which video? My videos?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I will also say that I know Ed is a very kind and generous and giving person who would love to talk. Tell me more. Who, if you are struggling and you are like, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start. I don't know what to do. I'm not hitting my numbers. Some people out there are really not even being able to pay their mortgages right now, or won't be in the next couple months if it continues this way. So it really is serious right now. We need to get into action, because this industry and our job is totally worth it. It is worth doing the job at a high level. It's worth having so many conversations and helping people. And I know that everyone out there is able to do that. And I know that Ed will be happy to talk to you. So you can feel free to reach out to him. If you want a coaching call with him, I'm sure he would offer up some time.
Yeah, of course. And you would too. So both of us.
I absolutely would. Yep.
Either one of us. And it's not a recruiting call. We're not going to try to recruit folks to our team. Well, to be real candid with that too, there's a lot of great realtors that we help coach that wouldn't fit on our team anyway.
Right.
So, for the folks that join our team, it's got to be in 100% alignment anyway. We just don't take everybody. And again, there's some folks that
Mhm.
I'm still great friends with that I help coach, and we help mentor each other, and wouldn't be a fit for the team. So don't feel like we're going to try to convince you to come on the team. Just
Unless
here to
you're a
help.
perfect, amazing fit and it would help you and it's good for the grader.
Yeah, I mean, it's if it could
But
be
at the
win-win.
end of the day, I think our bigger heart and our mission is just, we want to see agents succeed. We want to see you live your best life and reach your goals. And we just know how crucial it is right now to get into action. And it's been really a pleasure to see you on the screen, Ed.
We're
It's
not
been
even
really nice spending time with you.
We're not even
And
in the
we
same house right now.
No, we're not. And we appreciate your time. And if anyone wants to reach you, what is the best way to reach you?
Ed@edhuckteam.com.
Awesome. And of course, you can reach me at julie@edhuckteam.com or reach out on our Agent of Change platform. So thank you so much. And we'll see you all soon.
Thank you. See you soon, Jules. Bye.